Hello and welcome to coverage of the Magic Online Championship. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Kenji Egashira.
Hello, hello.
And we are just about underway for the first round of draft. Now, for those watching live, we just watched actually both of these players draft, and they got paired together here, which is kind of sweet. And for those not, you can check out that video. But why don't you give us a recap of where these players are at here?
They're both sitting on fairly, I'd say fairly aggressive blue-white decks. I think Alexa definitely has the better top end of the two. He's sitting on your right on the screen here. But I think Jesper has a chance if he just draws the right cards, gets the curve on early. Hopefully he can get there.
Well, who do you think is going to win?
Alexa. But you never know. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how the games play out. A lot of small creatures trading off early, then some bigger flyers trading off early, then Alexa plays a dragon. That's what I'm thinking.
That's how the progression goes. And as far as your mind, you can see that they're making sure that they get into their game here.
So they had the opportunity of seeing where they sat if they were paying attention to the draft. I wonder if they know,
Yeah, you can pull that little slider across. Oh, they were 4 seats apart, which is kind of what we assumed, right? Whenever you see two players end up in the same exact color pair, it's very common to see them the full distance apart from each other.
Although honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if they were sitting a lot closer, just based on the power level of one over the other.
All right, so let's jump down to our main match here. You can see Jesper de Jong on the top part of your screen there is 7-0 coming into this round, and Alexa Tellerov is 5-2.
Both sitting in a great position to continue throughout the day.
All right, what do you make of the opening hands here, Kenji?
Well, Jesper has a one-lander, and it's not his main color, so that's definitely going to have to ship that one. Alexa seems to have a pretty decent start. He doesn't have a dragon, though.
He'll draw one.
Oh, okay, you're right.
For the Orator of Ojutai.
Correct. Jesper's mulliganed into a pretty slow.
His deck is not fast.
Well,
it's really not.
But he wants to try to be, I think. He doesn't want to play the first thing on turn 3.
I think you want him to try to be.
Okay, that's also fair.
His deck is going to cooperate.
Right on time.
There's the dragon.
Turn late. It is turn 3.
All right, so he's going to get an 0-4 Flying Defender, which is actually going to do quite good work against Jesper, who has a lot of 2-power flyers in his deck. In fact, in his hand, he's got 2 of them.
I don't know if you realize, but Jesper just took down the notes of what Alexa was playing, so going to keep a good track of the cards for games 2 and 3 if it goes that far.
Do you do that?
Not generally.
I don't either. Well, I mean, keep it in my head.
Yeah, I know a lot of players do that at like Grand Prix and whatnot. Keep a list of the important cards that they saw.
That's a good idea.
Dragon Bell Monk here for Jesper. Doesn't attack into an 0-4 very well.
Most of Jesper's creatures don't.
They
really don't.
That's fair. So do you morph face down? Sorry, Matt. Yeah, morph the Interceptor face down here, or do you?
Actually, just face up it here.
Because you plan on curving out into the summons afterwards.
I want to play summons the next turn, and I can just start getting a clock going on my opponent here.
Yeah, I completely agree. Looks like that's what he's doing, too.
Yeah, I like that play from Tellerov. He's now presented a viable threat that is going to have to be dealt with, and he's going to be taking no damage himself, and his play next turn is quite fine as well with Ojutai summons. I mean, the turn after that, he's going to have 7 power in the air. Pretty easy block here.
It is a free attack, though. I mean, he doesn't mind if it's trading with the Interceptor or if Alexa doesn't block.
Now this gets kind of interesting. He can offer the trade to Interceptor for the Sky Captain, and then he can reality shift the Dragon Bell Monk, which would leave Jesper with just a 2-2. He also can just ignore here and try to go bigger.
Yeah, I don't think he would want to reality shift the Dragon Bell Monk afterwards. He could consider...
it'd be a 4-4.
True, but you got to assume that your opponent has better bombs than that. Although a 4-4 Vigilance...
Yeah, it can then get through the Orator. But of course, the plan here is to curve out And so he's going to do that to start things off and decide what he wants to do after. No offer of trades, of course.
You could even consider, although I'm not saying it's good, reality shifting the Sky Captain so that bolster doesn't happen.
That's a viable option.
Yep.
You know, another 2-2 on the ground just isn't something that Telerov is really concerned about given his start here. All right, so here's Avon Surveyor, though. A nice one right on curve for Jasper.
Bouncing one of the Jin tokens.
Yeah, that's going to kill it,
summons.
too. Yeah. And it looks like Alexa is going to have to take a couple of damage here unless he wants to trade. He is considering it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Jasper's developed out another 2-2, so it's not like the Interceptor is going to get much better of an attack.
Now, this would let him, though, kind of let Jasper make a dragon of his own if he did block here. If he traded here, I should say. Yeah, he's just going to take the 2 damage and drop down to 18. Ojutai Summons comes off a rebound.
He drew
there's that sixth land,
but no double white.
Doesn't have double white yet. It hasn't had a chance to add anything to that Crucible.
I like the Crucible in his deck. He has 4 dragons.
I like it too.
Yeah, I mean, it might as well. Seems to hurt him a little bit here, but
yeah, if it was a Haven, he would be happier.
He would be in heaven with a Haven.
He would.
Yeah, B-.
You're very generous, I can see. All right, he's going to offer the trade here, though. Ojutai Interceptor for Avon Surveyor.
No point in playing out the Sandcrafter Mage because it would just make the Interceptor a 4-2, which still just trades.
That's right.
The reduce in stature definitely a little bit awkward versus the Sky Captain. All right, we do see the trade.
Yeah, so that benefits him. And now when he plays the Sandcrafter Mage, he's going to make a 3/3 flyer, which matches up quite nicely against the board he's up against. Though he doesn't know that Avon Tactician will probably be on its way to make another 3/3 flyer on the other side. And this gets interesting
We found the trump card.
Yeah, and he can actually play a Monument plus that. He can also play a Jeskai Sage plus that. He can also just play it and activate it this turn. So Echoes of the Kin Tree has been called here. And, this is a card that you would prefer to not run in your deck most of the time. But when you're low on power, if you just need a way to sort of give yourself at least a chance in the late game, this card can actually get that job done. And Jesper has just drawn it. And, they're at a relative state of parity here.
So I think actually that the Echoes is going to take over this game.
I mean, right now, Alexa just does not have the hammer. He just can't lay it down. And Jesper is at 20, looking quite stable after playing this Avon Tactician and making his own 3/3 flyer here. And he's just going to pass a turn back because he knows what's going on now.
So it looks like he did add the counter to the Crucible.
Yeah, that's going to allow him to cast the Ward Scale Dragon if he wants. Not the light form, though.
The thing about the blue-white mirror match is that the opponent doesn't usually have a good way to deal with Echoes of the Kin Tree or the creatures that the Echoes bolsters onto.
Yeah.
Right? You play a threat, you start bolstering onto it. Okay, they pacifism it. You play another threat or whatever. What are they going to reduce in stature? That doesn't work with bolster.
No. You just start building it right back up again.
I actually like Jasper's spot here better.
I do too.
Yeah. Although it'd be pretty nice to see a light form hit an Ojutai.
That would be a board swinger for sure. He can't cast it, though.
No. He's got the Word Scale. I think he might just cast that.
Yeah, I think his best play is just to slam Ward Scale Dragon here. But that puts him back ahead on board as far as he knows, though. He doesn't know that Jasper is going to play his bomb.
What we're calling his bomb in the deck.
He actually has a Shore Crasher Elemental in his list as well.
Yeah, no, Echoes is the winner here.
All right. Okay, so Alexa decided to attack with his 3/3 Jin.
I like this attack. If the opponent blocks with his Sky Captain, again, you have the reality shift wherever it gets bolstered onto.
To mitigate the what would be the
4/4.
The Dragon Bell Monk here, yeah. So he did not block. Jasper's not incentivized to do so. Every creature he has with the Echoes is good for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not really wanting to trade off his creatures for a few damage here.
Again, Echoes is very mana hungry, but Jasper doesn't have much to do after he develops out the Monument in this age.
Right.
And the nice thing is, he can play out the Monument, hold up mana to activate it, and then if Alexa doesn't do anything, just Echoes instead.
It looks like Jasper did decide to block here, actually.
Oh, thought we went to damage?
I thought we had two, but we hadn't. And that means that, that could be a big swing here back for Alexa. It sort of puts more of Jasper's eggs into fewer baskets here.
Looks like he's reducing one of the creatures instead.
Really?
I mean, that's still fine on the Dragon Bell, because then you have to cast 2 spells to make, it attack.
But he's at 18. It's interesting. I think you just want to slam the Ward Scale Dragon there. It's a more mana-efficient play as well.
But this way he doesn't take any damage this turn.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, that's not true. He can attack with... Jasper can attack with both creatures, and the Orator can only block one.
So he takes 2.
Yeah. But then again, Alexa knows he has 3 more dragons in his deck somewhere, and he's got to assume that's better than whatever's going on for Jasper.
That is true.
Can't say Youthful Scholar was what I would want to draw there. I think he definitely develops the Monument this turn.
He wants to get that mana source out of his hand and onto the board.
Yeah, well, that's the only way that he can also play an additional spell, right? The Sage or the Echoes.
Well, he could just play both of those if he wanted. I mean, they
the
each
2
cost
drops.
2. Yeah, I mean, if he wants, I like getting the Monument out of his hand as well. Yeah. But he could just.
I think we're going to see Monument and Echoes this turn. Because the Sage doesn't do anything on this table. And that also allows the Dragon Bell to attack in for 4. Again, reducing stature is so awkward.
It's very awkward here.
Now, he didn't cast the Monument,
right,
instead opting to attack with the...
and he's left up the mana to activate his Echoes.
Yes.
Which would put the counter on the Aven Tactician.
Okay, so he's going to bolster here.
See, Esper just getting his beat down on here.
Interesting.
That is, so he's decided to bolster just to get in for 1 extra damage here?
Yeah, I don't know if I like that play.
I don't either. I think if you play the Monument out, you get the trigger on the Monk, which basically means that it's going to get through anyway. And you set up the ability to activate the Echoes twice next turn no matter what.
Although, he can still play the Monument next turn, activate the Echoes, which has to bolster... Well, I mean, he can choose to bolster onto the Aven Tactician, which can then eat the Orator.
Yeah, that's true. I like setting up the next turn to be able to bolster twice. Like, I just want to start activating that thing twice a turn for the rest of the game and make my blue-white opponent, get rid of my creatures. Like, it's not enough to put reducing statures on them. He needs to find something better.
So we saw a really aggressive reality shift from Alexa, taking care of the Tactician, who then draws his second white source. And we don't know what that manifest is yet.
Yeah, we can't see that. We're in spectator mode here, so we won't know what that manifest is until it gets revealed to the world.
Could be a land, could be a boat, be a scary.
Could be anything.
Yeah. Sandblast, the draw.
Not a bad draw here.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah. Especially against the light form, that could go a long way. Because right now, one thing that we'll note here is that Alexa has maneuvered this board state such that there's no more flyers on the other side.
Correct.
All right, so now we see the Ojutai Monument come down for Jasper.
So he probably goes to attacks here.
Yeah, he has effectively a 3/3 and a 3/5 attacking. He also has left his mana up so that he can play a Sandblast. And this is going to work out.
Get in for 2. And
yeah, he's going to get in for a couple and just leave Sandblast up, it looks like.
So I don't know, that seems a little bit telling that you didn't just snap Echoes there, that you have something. But I mean, if that manifest turns out to be, I guess, Ojutai, and Jasper goes for the Sandblast, that might be all she wrote.
Could be disastrous. Though I will say that if I'm Alexa And I'm sitting here staring at a ward scale dragon, and my opponent just declined to get in for extra damage, especially when he showed earlier in the game that he was quite willing to bolster for extra damage.
You might just wait.
I think I might just wait here.
I agree.
Because the thing is, there's not just one card. There's two cards that can punish you here. There's Sandblast, which his opponent has, and there's also a Whisk Away.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Yeah, he's just going to pass the turn. I like that play from Alexa. All right, so Jasper's Manifest is a Strong Armont. And you know what the other Manifest is? It's Ojutai Soul of Winter. You called it, Kenji. Well, now we see what's happening.
Holy moly.
He's got the mana to turn it up, and with the Ward Scale Dragon in effect, that is going to make life very difficult for Jasper. Now, one interesting thing, though, about the timing on Ojutai, it triggers when it attacks.
Correct.
Right? So when he attacks, it needs to already be face up.
It
does still mean, though, that the Sandblast and Whisk Away type effects aren't going to apply, so you'll probably flip it up first anyway. And
wow. I would have been very tempted to attack with the light-formed Ojutai there last turn.
You would have?
Yeah, because if it's just Whisk Away, that's not the worst-case scenario. If it is the Sandblast, you completely blow him out.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, and he did have the mana to do it, right?
I think it was pretty obvious that Jasper was holding up, one of those two tricks, and neither of them are too bad for you. But I mean, again, word scale just completely negating everything, anyways.
And I think, Jasper actually considered just casting the Sandblast on the Orator there. I think he realizes, look, this isn't going to do what I want it to do this game. Ward Scale Dragon, which, by the way, Alexa has 2 copies of. Jeez.
Oh, yikes! He can cash in the Orator at any point now to counter anything that
any creature does. Yeah, this one is quickly spiraling out of control, though. I have to say, Kenji, you kind of wrote it up this way. You drew, you said that the players will often find themselves in a spot where neither can really get through for significant damage, and then that leaves us for the late game. And the late game is Alexa's. He's the one that has all of the.
Holy! Look, you see Jasper's eyebrows raise.
He's like, whoa. And both of the dragons are going to hit the red zone, and they're going to hit.
Now, you have to remember, Ojutai triggers his ability for every dragon.
Yes, of course.
Right? So,
oh no!
The word scale is also going to get to tap something. Jasper cannot cast spells.
Yeah, he's trying, but it's not going to work. So, this is going to be a quick ending here, I think. And let's see. Does he have enough mana to activate the monument? He does.
He does, but
he can trade it for the ward scale.
No, because I assume Alexa's tapping down, right?
It's non-land permanent, of course.
Right, yeah.
That's right. So he'll just tap that down, too.
I mean, you see this is turn 10 between this match, and the life total are still 20-13. This is exactly what Alexa wants.
Yeah, there's a little reversal there.
Well.
Now it's 18-11.
When you're taking 9 in the air.
5 of it lifelink.
Echoes does not seem as good.
Right. And, this is, of course, the argument against Echoes. It can give you that long game against the sort of parodied, mediocre creature type board states, but if your opponent plays a big bomb like Ojutai Soul of Winter, and even in some cases just a ward scale dragon, the Echoes is woefully slow and just doesn't get the job done. Oh. At this point, Alexa can just block, he can take the damage, it kind of doesn't matter anymore.
It's just the Ojutai, it was the complete difference. Like ward scale dragon wasn't doing anything on its own because the monument was negating it, I suppose.
I mean, based on personal experience, I assumed that the light form was a plains.
No, it's always something that you want. So it wasn't a land there. It would have been like a
some sweet
spell, a pacifism, whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're right. The turn 3 light form when you need
exactly when you need the 4th land. That's what it always is.
Yeah.
All right, getting his free attack in, opting not to bolster, just developing out his board.
Geez, the hits keep coming here, though, for Alexa, who's taking some notes. I think he knows that this game is just a turn or 2 away from being over.
You could say it's a little bit chilling. Because Soul of Winter,
I mean, I didn't say that.
Okay, well, I said it. C-. Yeah, he can just attack with both of his dragons, leave up both of his spells.
Yeah, what we're seeing here is Alexa Telerov firmly in the driver's seat as he closes out this game. So Alexis should be able to win game one here. And I don't know what kind of options Jasper really has out of the board to try to shore up this matchup, because this is a nightmare for him.
I think Alexa just doesn't want to show information at this point. No point in revealing the sorcerer.
No. Enhanced Awareness was the draw step there for Jasper, but with his opponent at 23, even a few prowess triggers is just not going to get the job done. He finds a Dragon Hunter and a Territorial
Actually,
Rock.
Dragon Hunter is very good versus him.
Yeah, it would have been. Unfortunately, it's too late.
So it goes.
All right, so that's going to do it for game number one. Alexa Telerov taking that one fairly handily. There was a middle stage of the game where it looked like the Echoes of the Kin Tree might be able to be a big advantage for Jasper, but it only took one bomb. Now, it did happen to be a light-formed Ojutai Soul of Winter, to be fair, but that's all it took to close this thing up for Alexa.
So we see Jasper bringing in Contradict. He was hovering over the Radiant Purge for that Ojutai. Little does he know, Alexa also has a pristine Skywise for the Purge to potentially target.
I guess you can never have too many bombs.
Yeah, Alexa taking out the Jeskai Barricade knows that this is mainly going to be a battle in the air. Ooh, he's considering bringing in the Silumgar command and splashing it. I like that a lot.
He knows he's not, well, he assumes he's not going to be under
too much
extreme pressure here, so he should be able to find the ability to splash it. What do you like about that? What's the big draw for you for Silumgar's command in this matchup?
It's almost always a 2-for-1. If you're anywhere ahead or even at parity on board, that card is just insane bonkers. Plus, this gives him access to another flyer in the Silumgar Monument if he wants to. Now, he doesn't have as much card manipulation as Jasper, but I do think bringing in the black here is definitely a consideration. He's bringing in the Dual Lurker, another nice creature that can just keep poking in. Megamorph, of course, making it a 2/2 unblockable. I think this is a great matchup for the Lurker.
For sure, especially if any type of bolstering or augmenting the creature at all really helps too.
Alexa doesn't have too much of that, but
yeah, not much.
Man, Jasper would have killed for a Lurker. Echoes? Yeah, reducing stature, not so good. All right, looks like Jasper's ready. Now remember, he mulliganed to 6 and kept a hand that didn't do anything until turn 3. I assume he's going to be on the play here again. Take a look at the players one more time. You think the game's going to go the same?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I don't think that Jasper's deck has the ability to apply enough pressure. It just doesn't. Like, even with us hand-picking his perfect curve, it still wasn't that impressive. Like, even a morph gets in the way of that. Yeah. And I just don't think it's there. He has to mulligan to 6 again here. Now, this is a much more aggressive start, though, on Alexa's side. You can see he's got Wandering Champion into Misthoof Kirin.
And this is the kind of curve I was talking about during the deck building, where he just goes like 2, 3, maybe a 4-drop, and then Void Squall to lock it up super early.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got the Void Squall in hand, and he even has Enhanced Awareness to refill his hand if this plan A doesn't work.
Although Right Into Being is a nice... I guess any creature is generally pretty nice against the Wandering Champion early.
Yeah. Yeah, he needed something there, but being on the play meant that he had any 2 or 3 drop really to get in the way, and he's found a Right Into the Being here.
Luckily, that should help him hit his land drops. He wants to get that Strong Arm Monk into play, considering he already has 3 other non-creature spells. But this just might be Misthoof Kirin taking over. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alexa play the face-down Lurker here. Unflip it, or Megamorph it next turn, and as well as playing the Kirin face down.
Yeah, that seems to be his most efficient mana route here. In the meantime, he's going to offer the trade Manifest for Wandering Champion, a pretty easy one.
Dragon Hunter being the manifested card.
Yeah.
Oh, he is going with the Kirin, it looks like. Interesting. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, no, I think I like your sequencing a little better there, Kenji. It lets him use his mana more efficiently, and he gets in similar amount of damage here. So we'll see where he ends up going from here. But you can see the awkwardness here, right?
Yeah.
With the line that he takes. Now he gets in for 2, and now he's going to play the Gudul Lurker face down, and he does have the mana to flip it up. But this sets his mana back. The way he's going to be able to use his mana back pretty significantly here. As you said, he would have all 5 mana available next turn with his creatures going too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
actually, is that actually the same? If he had flipped, right? His Kirin would have still been face down.
sure. Are you asking me?
Yeah, I think
This
it
is
was
your
the same.
suggestion.
Oh well. It just looks prettier when you tap out, I guess. You know.
Yeah, there's the. Well, but I mean, look, that just happens to be how he drew, right?
Sure.
So. Meanwhile, whatever way he decided to sequence it, the beats are incoming.
Yes,
here.
it
He
is.
just Void Squalled, and he's got that hanging around in his exile zone here, right there. So that's going to come off of. I always want to say suspend, but it's going to come off a rebound during his upkeep and keep whatever it is that he plays. And in fact, Jasper is going to definitely outplay him by not casting anything.
Actually, going back to it, it was better to lead with the Lurker, because if Jasper had led or played any sort of creature, right, he could have blocked the Kirin, since he had played it first. Oh, we just see a nice curve out here.
Wow. He drew Ojutai summons as well. All right, well, Jasper's not done, though. He's got a nice way to mitigate one of the threats here with a Sandblast. He's going to take the known quantity, and yeah, he can't be happy to see this. I mean, he's got his... Look at his hand. Strong Arm Monk, Enhanced Awareness, Reduce in Stature, Ojutai on you. I mean, this is just misery.
Your opponent has another summons coming into play. I wonder why he didn't Sandblast the Morph. What are you scared of there?
Well, I think he just knows that he'll never be able to block the 2/2.
Sure. Okay.
So he just says, look, the Morph could be something dumb on the ground that I can block. Even a Mischief Kirin, which is what that Morph is, isn't that bad for Jasper, generally speaking. He's got a lot of flyers that can get in the way, but if he just lets the Gudul Lurker stick, he's just going to take 2 for the rest of the game.
That's fair. Of course, Reduce in Stature not being the most effective against a Lurker, even with the Megamorph counter.
Meanwhile, 5 hit you, and this is going to set up the win next turn.
Correct.
If Jasper cannot find something, he does have Reduced in Stature, I suppose, to give him 1 extra draw step, but I don't think he has outs at this point. This is just desperation time now for Jasper. From our side tables, by the way, we got a few victors already. Maria Schwarze defeated Lucas Dusek, who just can't seem to find his rhythm here. 2-0. Nathan Smith beat Lucas Duco 2-0. Lucas has had a tough run here as well.
And this was in the second bracket, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if your first name was Lucas and you're in the Magic Online Championship this year, you are not a happy camper. It's been a rough go for both of them.
All right, we see the Reduce on one of the monks. Monument coming down, and might as well get in since your opponent cannot.
It's for 5. Yeah, it would have been for 5.
I'm not sure what Jasper can draw here. Even if he draws Territorial Rock, he can't activate the Monument afterwards, or at least
or
not
just any
untapped.
Of those flyers, they're just not good enough because either flyer is lethal at this
Plus,
point.
with the Elusive Spellfist and Reduce in Stature, that's another unblockable lethal creature.
So right now, Alexa is deciding if he wants to go a little forward here.
Okay.
With his board state, and he does. Now, there's an Aven Surveyor. We were trying to figure out what card he could draw to not die here, and he found it, though the Reduce is still going to kill him, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He this way, he does force Alexa to have a non-creature spell to make the Elusive Spellfist get through, but as it turns out, he's got one.
Those fists are becoming very large. As much as I love Mischief Kirin, The 2 toughness really sets it back, but it comes down so early. All right, and we see the concession there.
Yeah, that's going to do it. And a handshake as well from our 2 competitors. And that's the first loss of the entire weekend there for Jasper. So he's going to drop down to 7-1. And
Alexa 6-2.
Creeping up. Don't you have him? Did you choose him to win?
Yeah,
he's
my dark horse.
Oh, all right. Hey, you're dark horse at 5-2. Yeah, you're a real risk taker. Let me tell you, out on a limb.
But yeah, start of day 1, I had him coming in there good.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he's doing quite well sitting at 6-2 now. So these players are still near the top of the standings. We have a big group of people in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check in and see what's going on with Brian David Marshall in the red zone.
Hey guys, welcome to the Red Zone. I'm just keeping an eye on things here. We had a couple of interesting matches this round. I know it's Dragons and Tark here, so it's a Dragon format. We had Nathaniel Smith playing Lucas Ducow, and Nathaniel, said, I talked to him this morning. He said, I just can't lose. He's like, I have to win all my remaining rounds here if I want to make the top 4. So he had a very rough Modern go. He went 0-4 in Modern. But felt pretty excited to be here in draft, and so we pick up the action with both these guys just kind of dirtling along, playing their lands. Not that much happens until turn 3, but there's a Shaman of the Forgotten Ways for Nathaniel Smith, and Lucas has a Crater Elemental, which should be able to keep things at bay for a while. Sandcrafter Mage comes down as a 3/3, and then he has enough mana to also map the wastes, and now it's a 4/4 Sandcrafter Mage. There's a Gore Swine from Lucas, and we're going to send both creatures into the red zone. Which one do you want to kill, Lucas? He decides he wants to kill obviously the 4/4, and we get Wild Call. Wild Call. What's under there, guys? What do you think?
Ward Scale Dragon.
Dramoka.
All right. Well, we're going to find out soon enough. So, Lucas plays Hungering Yeti, passes the turn, at Nathaniel Smith attacks, and before blockers, unmorphs.
Whoa!
A 10-10 Arishan Sovereign.
Man.
Even if you can deal with it, it's coming back.
Oh, that's brutal.
And this game was not go much longer.
2-turn clock, you
Lucas,
say?
yeah, Lucas drew another card and said, "Yeah, I'm done." And so game 2 was also pretty exciting. Let's see if I can cue that up. Nathaniel Smith, by the way, has a deck that is certainly capable of running the table here. Whether or not it did, I guess we'll find out in a moment. Let's take a look at how game 2 went. These guys are both trying to claw their way up from the back of the second draft pod. And there's an Aven Skirmisher.
Yes.
Did you just really pump the fist for Aven Skirmisher, Kenji? Come on, what is wrong with you?
I'm just shaking my head.
Glade Watcher. It's like a buddy cop film in there. Glade Watcher can do nothing. You see the power of the Aven Skirmisher. Here comes Light Form. Manifests a creature. There is Obs on Beastmaster, so Nathaniel Smith is going to be in a position to just start burying his opponent in card advantage. Gets in for 3, Lucas does, and then proceeds to take. Yeah, he Tal Slashes that Obs on Beastmaster. He's like, no, that cannot be allowed to live. But then slams on the brakes with Airy Bowmasters. This is a card I think in the buddy cop film Marshall is always talking about. Sort of mocking the Aven Skirmisher with it. Well,
Skirmisher's still good.
No.
All right, no,
okay.
but
Here's a Dragonloft Idol, a 5th land, and then things are going to get out of hand pretty quickly. There's a Gore Swine. Looks, somewhat evenly matched up, but There is Whisperwood Elemental.
Oh, God.
Nothing like validating all your life choices in pack 3. And then Whisperwood Elemental starts just churning out manifests. And he's like, oh, I'll eat something here. He's like, I could send my planes into the red zone. In the red zone. Explosive vegetation. Just looking to make sure he has mana to cast his Whisperwood Elemental in this deck, I guess. So now Glade Watcher and Manifest get into battle. But, it's like, what do you do when your opponent plays a Whisperwood Elemental, Marshall? Like, how do you deal with that?
You can right-click concede.
Well, there's another Arishan Sovereign manifested, and everything comes flying in.
Including the Dragonloft Idol.
Yeah, the Dragonloft Idol goes to the air.
Yeah, newly found
and
found
things
Flample.
get a little just...
What is this?
What is
Shield Hide
happening?
Dragon.
What is this? He even got a counter on his Sovereign from it.
Yeah, just... This is going to be, okay, attack with everybody, and the game is over. So, pretty disgusting. Nathaniel Smith certainly has the tools, I think, to go all the way here. I don't know. Whisperwood Elemental's pretty good, I hear. I'm going to send it back to the booth and Marshall Sutcliffe.
Thanks, VDM. So, that was a beating.
That was Newmont gross, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was validation for my feelings against the Aven Skirmisher.
I don't think Arishan Sovereign should ever be that big.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
10-10 and 7, it just didn't want to be a 6-6.
No, it was just it was always bigger. All right, let's send it down to the floor for a quick interview.
I'm Eric Froelich at the Magic Online Championships, and I'm with Alexa Tellerov, who has just improved to 6-2, knocking off our last undefeated player. And we are in Dragon's Booster Draft. Tell me, how did your draft start?
So the draft started powerfully with Silumgar's command, and I didn't want to go into 2 colors right away, but my friend just told me to pick the good multicolor cards right away. And he told me to stay out of white if possible. So yes, I really command. Then I was picking some mediocre blue stuff just to try to stay in color. Then none of the black was coming, and there was some white, but it was a good white pack. Then nothing for 2 picks, then a good white pack, and so on. So I wasn't sure what was going on, and the crucial point was when I 5th pick Hand of Silumgar instead of Misk of Griffin. So that was might have been a mistake because I didn't notice there was just no black stuff that was premium. So yeah, and from that point the white cards just keep coming more and more, and I was just let's go in white. So
it looks like your deck turned out pretty strong. How do you feel about your deck, and how do you feel about Dragons as a format for you?
I feel great about the deck. It's really exciting. It's something different, and I like the format. I haven't drafted it too much, so I enjoy the interactions I haven't seen played out, and yeah, it's really good, I guess.
You're now in 2nd place. There's just one person ahead of you, 1 match ahead, definitely closing the gap. Alexa now at 6-2, putting himself in great position to make a run for the top 4. Good luck to you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so some words from Alexa, but you know what? Let's jump over to the red zone where Brian David Marshall is finishing his drink.
I had joined some iced tea. I got to keep caffeinated here in the red zone. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're going to pick things up here in a match between Magnus Lanto and Antonio Del Moral Leon. And when we pick up the action, the Pro Tour champion, Del Moral Leon, is attacking with an Inoc artillerist. So
not a bad thing to attack on an empty board here.
Against red-black?
So he's going turn 3, but he plays his 4th land, and there is Sabretooth Outrider. Marshall, this was like one of the breakout cards to me from Grand Prix Atlantic City.
Oh, absolutely. And he has Insta-Formidable here as well. He's got 2 creatures, but 8 power between them, so that Saber-Tooth Outrider is going to have first strike when it attacks.
So Lanto, he immediately flattens the Outrider.
Cancel that order.
Yeah. Not so formidable after all.
Still, this Artillerist is now hit for 8
damage. Wow.
That's got to be a record.
And there's the Inoc Beastmaster. Very low bar for the Beastmaster. You know, you could play a Morph and shut off any ability for him to draw cards.
If this thing triggers...
Twin Bolt, please? Oh.
How about Kolagon the Storm's Fury?
Whoa.
You don't frequently see that hard cast as opposed to dash.
Yeah.
He's got to knock this Obzon Beastmaster down a notch, though.
So Map the Wastes. Oh, a Swamp, eh? We're playing Jund, are we? And he gets in with a now 5/2 Inoc Artillerist.
That thing's done 13
That might
damage.
be the best artillerist I've ever seen.
So there
Oh,
is
no!
Dragonfire. What are you going to do now?
Hopefully it's Kolagon's Dragonfire, too.
Oh, man. All
But-
right. Well, this race is going to change dramatically.
Can Lanto attack here?
Think
He's thinking about it. He's thinking for a while.
He's thinking about Sarkon's Rage. He doesn't want to have the Beastmaster attack him down to 5 and just get Sarkon Rage right out of this game, but he can't
does
resist
attack.
5 for 2.
I mean, if not aimed at the face, it'd be going at the Kolagon anyways.
So Delmar Leon gets him to 5. Does he have it? He does not have Sarkon's Rage.
He just bought himself a turn with that Jungle Hollow, though.
Just made it a 4-possession game here.
He did. Magnus's draw has been so weird. Flatten, Vile, Kolagon.
At least 2 of those cards are very good.
Full stop.
Just play out the rest of this game here. There's a Kolagon Aspirant. Gets in for 5.
Now, this was the same pot as both of the blue-white drafters we saw previously.
So suddenly
They were in the same
Leon
one.
is down to 11. Antonio's down to 11. Plays Dragonloft Idol. That's a
Yeah.
4/4 flyer.
Oh, no.
Cash defenses.
Oh!
Ruthless Instincts. Magnus is down to 2.
But Antonio's going to be at 3.
He's attacking way too fast here.
This is very scary.
Attacks with everybody. Plays a Morph. Plays a Gurmag Angler. He's got the ground locked up. But the Storm's Fury with dash.
Wow!
And he flies over for the win. So pretty exciting game.
Oh, man.
We have. I can go ahead to game 3 here if we still have. If we still have a little time. So it got evened up in game 2. And let's take a look. And I'll just play. I'll let this sort of play out here. When we see. This was another game where we saw, there's been a lot of discussion on Twitter about Echoes of the Kin Tree. Is that an enchantment that does something or does it do not do something? Is it a first pick? Is it a last pick? But there's another enchantment that showed up here that was pretty interesting for a lot of people. So Sandstep Scavenger got a 4/4 and a 2/3 against the Dragonloft Idol. And there it is.
Yes.
Deadly Wanderings. Marshall, how often do you find yourself playing this card?
Not very often, but it looks pretty good here.
Yeah, so now we've got a 5/3 Death Touch Lifelinker coming in, and really not anything Delmar Leon can do. He's just got to fight it, but he's got Epic Confrontation to just trade straight up with it. And then we see a Flatten, and so both players are just going back and forth. A Conifer Strider, a Kolagon Aspirant, that's a 4/1.
Aspirant with Death Touch means anything that tries to block it, GG.
So here's Cola Gun. So, he gets him to 19. But he can't hold the ground with the Strider. So he gets in, he goes back up to 23. Yeah. Sarkhan's Rage takes out the dragon. And this card is just keeping Lanto in the game. And then he's got Boltwing Remarder, so he's just got all the black-red dragons. Here's the Sabertooth Outrider again. So Deadly Wanderings is turned off. But, it's bought him, I don't know, how many turns would you say he's bought himself with this?
I mean, he gained, 12 life or something.
So there's Ruthless Instincts on the Conifer Strider to take down the dragon. But there's a Calcisma Behemoth. There's a Smoldering Efreet. Savage Ventmaw for Antonio. Just everybody comes in, pays the tax. And then, he's back down. He's got a Smoldering Efreet that has Death Touch and Lifelink. Oh, and Butcher's Glee to finish off the Savage Ventmaw. Antonio's down to 2. Magnus is at 26 here. That's the game. Pretty impressive use of Deadly Wanderings. I also saw it in game 2 that he had collateral damage, so he was able to actually do some really weird combat tricks with collateral damage to get himself down to 1 creature. Interesting stuff. Sending it back to the booth.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, Kenji. Deadly Wanderings, he was kind of playing that thing like a violin.
Yeah.
It was pretty nice. And then you saw once he turned the corner, he just dumped his hand on the table. We're going to take a quick break here, but we're going to be back with more action from the Magic Online Championship right after this.
The new Magic Online exclusive Tempest Remastered combines the best of Tempest, Stronghold, and Exodus into an exciting new draft experience with events running until May 27th. Sign up for Magic Online at mtgo.com. Modern Masters 2015 edition comes to Magic Online on May 28th. With 8 4 and 6 222 draft queues, 64-player single-elimination draft tournaments, plus Phantom Sealed and Phantom Draft events, there's something for every Modern Masters fan. Visit mtgo.com for more information. Do you dream of playing in next year's Magic Online Championship? Season 6 of the Magic Online Championship Series runs until May 27th, so log on and earn those qualifying points today. Visit mtgo.com for more information and a complete schedule. Want to see some sweet standard decks? Every Tuesday, 8 of the best Magic players in the world get on Magic Online and try to win this week's installment of the Standard Super League. Luis Scott Vargas and Randy Buehler bring you all the action live on twitch.tv/magic, or you can catch up with previous episodes on YouTube. Friday Night Magic has expanded to include all formats. Be ready for Standard, Commander, Legacy, or even Conspiracy drafts. Check out your local store for details and share your FNM stories by using the hashtag MTGFNM. Visit magic.wizards.com/FNM for more information. Hunt bigger game by playing in a Grand Prix. These open tournaments feature the best players in your region as well as top Magic pros from around the world. Upcoming Grand Prix include Chiba, Utrecht, Las Vegas, Charlotte, Copenhagen, Providence, Singapore, and Buenos Aires. Visit magic.wizards.com/Grand Prix for a complete schedule. Make Magic history by joining in on the biggest Magic Premier Play weekend ever, featuring events in Chiba, Utrecht, and Las Vegas. Modern Masters Weekend is May 28th to the 31st. Learn more at magic.wizards.com/Modern Masters Weekend.
Hello there. Welcome back to the booth here at the Magic Online Championship. I am joined now by Eric Froelich. Efro, welcome. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you? 100% running on all cylinders?
Yeah, I've been better. My voice is currently cracking.
that
and
answers
continue
that,
to crack.
that answers that question.
Yeah.
Well, we'll run it out for as long as you can go. But if your voice ends up going, we'll just deal with it.
Yeah, hopefully people will give me a bit of a break, and I can bring some decent analysis and some interesting sounds.
I'm sure that you will bring both of those. So we've finished up one round of draft here in the morning. We got to watch Jasper draft his deck. He lost the first round to the mirror match against Alexei Telerov, who you spoke to. And now we're heading into the second round. There will be one more round of draft. We can take a look at our top 8 standings here. You see that Jasper finally picking up a loss. He didn't lose any games yesterday, but he's lost his first one here. Kenji and I were thinking this is about a 1-2 deck, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
But Tellerov moves up the ladder a little bit, as does Magnus Lanto, both sitting at 6-2 and kind of right at the heels there of Jasper. Looking down the line, you see that group of 4-3s is now split into a group of 3-5s and 4-4s, and both Ole Rade and Maxime Martin are sitting at 5-3 below. Again, if your name is Lucas, you're not happy this weekend. They're pulling up the caboose down there at the bottom. How are you seeing this, though, Ifro, as far as like the 3-5s go? If they run it out, do they have a shot to make the top 4?
Well, I haven't done the math, and that's going to generally depend heavily on how the top of the standings go.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, Jasper's deck kind of looks like a 1-2 deck, not a great deck, and he's actually in a pretty terrible spot considering that, because he is going to play against, I assume this round he's going to play against Magnus, who, since he just played against Alexa, you go top to bottom generally in pairings, and so you play against the next person that you can play against, and that's going to be someone who won their first round, which is kind of unfortunate because Jasper lost his first round and kind of lost it in convincing fashion.
Yes,
so he's going to potentially play against another deck that's quite a bit better than his that won its first round, and he can then drop to 0-2 and play against a deck that's 2-0 in this pod. Like, if Ole started this tournament 4-3 today, if he wins this round, he'll be 2-0 today, 6-3 overall, and he is likely to play against Jasper in round 3. Should that happen, it's going to be a 2-0 deck versus an 0-2 deck, and that's unfortunate for Jasper. Like, it's very easy if your deck's not very good and you maybe drafted a 1-2 deck. Well, you're not going to play against an 0-2 deck in round 3, so you might play against a 2-0 deck, and yeah, that's how the wheels fall off a little bit.
Yeah, and the interesting part about it too is that Jasper, he is a limited player. This is kind of the part he was looking forward to, but his deck didn't really come together.